After finishing the main story and 100%ing LEGO Batman: Legacy of the Dark Knight, I find myself feeling something I haven't felt for a LEGO game since I was a kid waiting for the original LEGO Batman to release back in 2008. Excitement. I initially only saw the first gameplay reveal for the game and was cautiously optimistic. It's no secret that for many years prior to the Skywalker saga, these games followed a strict formula with differing variations, such as adding an open world or even proper voice acting instead of the classic mumbles. But this game changed everything for me. To avoid making you deal with the Wayne's untimely passing yet again, but this time in LEGO form, we can just skim over the first couple of hours. Your typical boo-hoo, parents dead, and Ra's al Ghul trains Bruce. Seen it, been there, done that, and I found it to be one of the more boring parts of the game. The game really starts when you finally don that hard, angular cowl and begin to feel like Batman. LEGO Batman. As you progress through the story, you quickly realize what the game is going for. It blends all the media I could think of in relation to Batman into a fun reference-filled romp through an amalgamation of films, TV shows, cartoons, and movies that I grew up watching, and even media before my time. From the cheesy shark-spraying TV series from the 60s, to the most recent iteration on the big screen with 2022's The Batman. It's amazing how they blended it all together while still making it feel tangible in the plot, essentially living through different eras of the world's greatest detective, while meeting the other members of the Bat family throughout his career. On top of the supporting characters that you'll be able to play as, there are even more villains from Batman's Rogues Gallery. Without giving away too much, there is a certain green clown who makes a return. The Condiment King. I know. Be excited. As you progress through the game, you will fight goons. You will solve a plethora of puzzles, do some detective work, race against the clock in your many variations of the Batmobile, and collect a lot of Batsuits. Not to mention the hundreds of other collectibles for you 100%ers to dig into if that's your thing. Speaking of Batsuits and mobiles, I'm sure any Batman fan will be very satisfied with the selection on offer here. From absolute Batman to the, let's say unfortunately of its time, 1940s Batman.
A wise government rounded up the shifty-eyed Japs. It has become virtually a ghost street.
And the first appearance Batmobile to the Tumbler. I spent countless time sifting through different combinations of costumes and vehicles to fit my mood in the moment. With those combinations in mind, let's also discuss the playable characters. There are 7, but it is a very quality 7. Technically, you do start with Talia, but she doesn't unlock until near the end of the game, so you really start with Jim Gordon, who's modeled after his 2022 appearance in The Batman. He comes with 2 projectile weapons, one that shoots a blue bouncy ball that can bounce between enemies and destroyable objects in the environment, making him an absolute joy to bring into an enclosed space. Gordon's second weapon comes in the form of some kind of goo cannon that's mostly used for solving puzzles, including patching holes and clogging gears, but can be useful in certain combat situations. Up next is Black Cat, who's sporting her outfit from Batman Returns, which I quickly changed when I realized they had her Arkham City outfit. Selina's 2 weapons of choice are her iconic whip, which can spin enemies around like a top, or spin contraptions around to solve puzzles, and a laser pointer that can actually summon a controllable cat that can squeeze into smaller spaces and grab whatever is necessary to progress, even assisting in combat, but I didn't utilize it as much as her whip. Alongside the cat, we get the Robin, also in his Batman Forever outfit, Dick Grayson to be exact. This circus performer boasts a faster combat style with his batons for melee combat, a Birdarang that can lock onto multiple targets such as enemies or switches for puzzles, and a zipline that can make tightrope paths for you to traverse through stealth scenarios when the appropriate grapple points are available. Batgirl arrives next in her The New Batman Adventures outfit. Coming off as the more tech-savvy Bat family member, she comes with an electronic hacking Batarang that functions pretty much the same as the normal one, but can hack things for puzzles. She also comes with a sweet-ass drone that can be used to create your own perch points anywhere. Seriously, one of the coolest gadgets in the game. As time progresses in the game, so does the age of its characters. This is where Nightwing gets introduced. Robin grows and picks up the new hero identity of Nightwing, my personal favorite. Since this is pretty much the same character, his skill set remains the same, with the addition of an electricity effect that makes him my go-to combat guy. And last, and unfortunately definitely least, Talia al Ghul. 2 tools at her disposal, and both are poop from a butt. A blow dart that can put enemies to sleep, and a teleport that's only used a handful of times around near the end of the game. I personally would have preferred a more refined character with more class, such as the Penny Plunderer, whose entire gimmick revolved around stealing large pennies. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes, gameplay. The main thing that had me and many others interested in this LEGO game in particular was the obvious inspiration from the Arkham series of games. The question is, did they do it justice, or does it feel like a pale imitation of a system that many others have taken and refined, such as Shadow of War or even a Spider-Man? And I'm here to say, it's alright. Not perfect, not bad, just alright. On the surface, it definitely looks and plays like those games, but the feel is off. There is certainly a jankiness to it that I couldn't shake my entire 40 hours of playtime. Something about the rhythm of it that doesn't feel on beat compared to the Arkham games, if that makes sense. One example of this that comes to mind is unlocking the upgrade for bonus damage when timing your hits correctly. It just never felt correct. One input in my combo would always feel off beat compared to the other hits. The Arkham games also had this mechanic, and it was never an issue for me there. Who knows, maybe as I get older it's becoming more of a skill issue? The stealth segments are also inspired by those games, and they're great when you engage with them, if not easy. There really isn't any consequence for capture, just fight your way out and move on. But it is a children's game, so I can't be super harsh on it. They did a great job translating it here, and implementing fun finishers and stealth animations to complement the lighter tone of the game. There is one major issue I have with it though, and hopefully it's as easy as a patch. I hate the grappling hook. I know, but hear me out. 75% of the time my grapple hook would not aim for anything near where I would be looking. In most cases, I would grapple onto a ledge that's below me, even while I was actively aiming the camera towards God himself. And on the topic of aiming, God forbid you get any lock-on upgrades for your projectiles while doing puzzles. You'll be fighting the reticle and the camera trying to line up certain things, I promise you. Another negative aspect of the game that is going to be very subjective is the way the Batmobile controls. I did not enjoy the way it felt. It was way too stiff, stopping was way too abrupt, going into reverse took just a second too long, and it made for some really tight saves during the AR Batmobile challenges. And while we're still discussing negatives, I gotta say, the Batcave and its customization is utterly useless. I almost never spent time in the Batcave, save for clearing up some collectibles and accessing the level replay. You are able to purchase a very large variety of furniture and knickknacks for the Batcave, if you even wanted to bother with it. But therein lies another major issue. There's nothing to spend your studs on, especially if you don't want to engage in the Batcave mechanics. And there really isn't a reason to. Once you've purchased all the red bricks, costumes, Batmobiles, what is there for me to buy? Another variation of some fuck-ass barrels? Seriously wasted potential there. And mentioning the level replay earlier, it has got to be the weakest in the series. No bringing any characters you want into any level anymore. You literally just replay the level exactly the same. Although, I'll give him credit, having the level split into parts so you can easily see where you may have missed a collectible was a pleasant surprise. Despite those negatives, I had an absolute blast with the game, even managing to immerse myself, in some cases, with this beautiful rendition of Gotham's rainy nights and cloudy skies, veiling the criminals and citizens that roam the streets. Seeing NPCs pull out their umbrellas and complaining about another rainy night in Gotham, or even the sound design, hearing the muffled music of cars passing by, and news reports through the walls of some random buildings really left me impressed with how much love was poured into the city. I was 8 when I played my brother's copy of LEGO Batman on the PSP. Losing myself in that little handheld port, collecting everything I possibly could, and never returning the game to him, It was one of the earliest games I fully completed, and I think it's safe to say that I had the same childlike wonder and enjoyment exploring every nook and cranny of this version of Gotham. This game was a joy to play through, and I will be returning for the DLCs, but until then, the base game is something I can easily recommend to anybody who enjoys Batman, Legos, comics, or even video games in general. I give this game 8 1940s Batman slurs out of 10. Thank you for watching.